Speaking of crypto, let's just get right into this. Binder, I'll see crypto clips throughout the week and things like that, and I'll just save them specifically for you. So I hope that warms your heart a little bit before we get
Uh,
enraged by this
I'm
clip.
always on your when you see one of the worst, most disgusting things and predatory things imaginable. The first thing that comes to your mind is me, so I'll take
Yep,
it.
exactly. It's
Matt,
heartwarming.
gotta save this for Matt. I did want to say though, no, Luna crashed twice because after Luna crashed, they made a new Luna on a second,
Yeah, they brought Luna
Luna
2.0
2?
out. Yeah, and
which
then
is
seriously, that's what it's called. And they thought, hey, let's give some free Luna 2 to all the people who held Terra and Luna as like a, try to recoup your investment type thing. Like, we're sorry for what happened.
It's like the
And
free bet that you get on like DraftKings Sportsbook when they want you to keep spending more money, so that you
right.
won't leave the platform.
So if you lost all this money and then they give you free money, what's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to immediately cash out so you could try to recoup at least some of your investment, right? So that's what happened, and Luna 2 immediately like fell something like 90% or something like that.
Oh my god, I love that.
I'm not convinced that anybody has ever actually successfully cashed out of the crypto ecosystem. Not anybody as in like any individual, but like that there is a significant number of people who have been able to get money out of this ecosystem. And it's not just like trapped in various like, like in various like books of random coins. Like, do we know anyone
Right,
who's ever like just got it,
absolutely.
like actually just like gotten the money out there? Like, they had Bitcoin, in recent days, not the first Bitcoin millionaire, but like recently, anyone who's like had a significant amount of Bitcoin and like gotten it like in cash.
Oh, there was a recent story back when the Russia invasion of Ukraine started, where some like broker with a private Russian client, their client wanted to cash out. I don't remember the exact amount, so I don't want to put a number on it, but it was like a lot of money in Bitcoin or another crypto. I think it was Bitcoin though, and they wanted to cash out. And when they went to go cash out, they had to like privately contact the company, and they were basically laughed at. Like, you can't withdraw this much money. We can't give you this much. Like,
You're here forever.
We don't
You're
have the
never
liquidity to give you
leaving.
that much. Yes.
All right. Well, with that said, let's turn to this clip here. So, what better time to start hawking crypto if you're a United States senator when it's in the midst of free fall and people are slowly beginning to believe and understand that this is maybe the largest pyramid scam in the history of the world in terms of dollar figures. What better time for bipartisanship? Lovely bipartisanship. Here is Republican Senator Cynthia Lummis and Democratic Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, who represents our state here of New York. I mean, this is just because she's close with Wall Street people and they're hawking crypto to her and she's doing their bidding. But like, they go here on CNBC to talk about crypto and whether or not people should be using it in their retirement funds. Bad idea, but this is what they're paid to do, apparently.
Hey, Senators, two questions for you. One is, and I'm sure you saw this a little over a month ago, Fidelity, the largest 401k manager in the country, announced that they were going to offer Bitcoin to users or to consumers. Companies have to choose to allow their employees to put Bitcoin in their 401ks. The Labor Department came out and said this is a terrible idea. What do you think?
I think the Labor Department's wrong. I think it's a wonderful idea. It should be part of a diversified asset allocation, and it should be on the end of the spectrum of a store of value. Obviously, if you have a fully diversified asset allocation, you have some assets that you want to produce income in the short run. You also want some assets that are just a store of value. And I think that's where Bitcoin really shines.
Can we, yeah.
I think people
value shines.
I think people should know this. It's unclear how much she holds right now, but Senator Cynthia Lummis has a little bit of a conflict of interest here. She is a holder of Bitcoin and a significant amount too. She holds between $100,000 and $350,000 in Bitcoin. And this is from an article from the fairly, I don't want to say pro, but they cover crypto quite well, in positive light, CoinDesk. And on top of that, she made this purchase in August when Bitcoin was worth between 50,000 and whatever the max it went up to. I think it was like 69,000.
Yeah, she wanted to store some value. How did that work out, Binder?
Right. So she's at a loss right now. But, if you're a true believer and a holder, like it seems like she is, and you want to, make your money back and you're still holding, what better way than to, just convince bunch of retirees and various other people who don't know anything about how this works to just invest in Bitcoin so that
the value will go up for her.
Exactly.
I would not be do we know if Gillibrand has Bitcoin holdings? Binder, can you look that up?
I'm gonna look that up right now. I know about Cynthia Lummis because she has long been a pro crypto advocate.
Yeah,
in the
she
Senate.
had the laser eyes profile.
Yes.
This is literally just like if people owned Herbalife stock and they're like, Herbalife is a great thing to invest in.
Yeah, right.
I mean, maybe
just objectively.
Probably even worse than Herbalife because there's probably some protections. I'm not an investor, but
yeah,
crypto's all bullshit.
All right, let's keep going.
I think it's some of the hardest money that's ever been created in the world. And for that reason, it belongs as a slice of a diversified asset allocation for retirement funds.
Senator Gillibrand, you agree, disagree?
Go on, Kirsten.
No, I agree. And that's why this piece of legislation is so important and why it's so timely. Once you create basic infrastructure around these types of digital assets where there are disclosure requirements, where they have a regulator, where there's full transparency, that is going to create the safety and soundness in the market that will give other people comfort.
It's a bullshit market. Sorry, I'm pausing it again, but this is what infuriates me about the crypto commercial starring like Steph Curry and Shaq, where it's like you can learn how to. You don't need to know shit, but you can still learn how to trade crypto safely. And that message that there is a way to trade this safely, as if like it's like saying we'll make sure you get your snake oil.
Yeah,
like
we'll make sure that like when you buy the
expedited
snake oil,
free shipping for the snake oil
gets to you.
Yes.
Like, and it's glossed over the fact that actually the snake oil is not going to cure anything that you need cured, and it might even set you back.
It's particularly insidious because we have a massive issue in this country with retirement funds. Basically, the pension funds are being gutted. We don't have the security for our retirees anymore. And you see, as Binder, we've talked about, you've pointed this out, forums of Bitcoin investors saying, I didn't have a 401k as a young person. I've lost all of my retirement savings. And now it's really, I mean, everyone who watches CNBC is 65 or older, let's be real. And so these two are going on there to basically say, this is how you could diversify your portfolio with this asset. Crypto is in the tank right now, and it's just really to drive up the price for existing holders like Lummis.
And also
anyone who purchased Bitcoin in the past year, when the big influx of new crypto users came in from like mainstream media and like the normies, every single one of them who purchased Bitcoin, if they wanted to sell right now, they would sell at a loss.
They're all underwater.
Yeah, they're underwater. Every single one of this. The only people right now who can say they made money from Bitcoin, obviously, if they didn't sell and they were hodlers like they're encouraged to do, because again, number only goes up. Keep hodling as all the big players are selling off because that's when there's liquidity there and the number is high. All those people are losers right now, and unless you got in early, you're at a loss right now.
I obviously attribute less like agency or kind of responsibility to the athletes in those commercials than the senators, but it kind of feels like the same message, which is just like the people watching these ads, the people watching these spots, they're marks.
Yeah,
like they're literally marks for this industry.
Yeah, whether it's the athletes or whether it's these politicians, they are literally juiced by funds to try to find more marks, and that's why it's really despicable. And Kirsten Gillibrand, I don't know who Lummis is. She's a freak, probably. Gillibrand,
she's like a Republican. She's a Republican from I think like Wyoming or something.
Right.
From Wyoming, yeah.
But this is really despicable what Gillibrand participating in this, and I hope I mean, tweet at her honestly. Like she should get a lot of heat for this bullshit.
Well, what this,
hold on. I want Brander to jump. Brander.
Oh, yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think you're all right. And it's crypto's clearly in a debt spiral. And they're just rummaging for new ways to bring in more liquidity for the big whales who are currently in there and who have no way to get out right now, much less the amount of money. And I'm sure people will talk about like the sort of the small crypto holder, but there's definitely not enough money for them to sell out at this point now, and much less if they decide to hold on for the long term. But to speak to the safety thing, they're currently co-sponsoring a bill now that is, like they would say is intended to make crypto less safe, but they have chosen to not have cryptocurrencies and I guess NFTs defined as securities in their new bill, but to define them as a much more vague, much more wishy-washy sort of commodities that they won't be under incredibly strict regulation like other types of stocks and bonds via the SEC. Dropped my camera again. Oh no, but that because they'd be under a different sort of trade commission, the CFTC.
Yes, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission.
Camera.
Yeah.
Let's listen to the rest of this Gillibrand clip while he fixes his camera.
Full transparency. That is going to create the safety and soundness in the market that will give other people comfort that this is a market that is here to stay. It's one that is properly regulated and one that has oversight and accountability. And that's what this legislation is going to do. So while many people are uncomfortable with where these digital assets are being used or offered today, once a regulatory framework's put around it, there will be more comfort there.
It's not where they're being offered from.
No, it is the fundamental nature of crypto. There's no regulation that's gonna. I mean, this is just like it's a complete false security that she's providing there. No, there's no way to regulate this in the way that, like, in a bipartisan way at the very least, that's going to provide the security that she says, specifically for retirees. It's quite despicable.
Right. The reason they want it classified, and what I mean all the major crypto exchanges, they want it classified as a commodities because the CFTC is much weaker than the SEC. And you know what? They're sort of, I don't know if this is the right word, so maybe I shouldn't say, but they're sort of, I don't know, they themselves are greatly influenced by these crypto advocates as well, it seems. This is the same commission that the chief of the commission tweeted out a photo of her hanging out with the that guy who founded FTX, one of the major crypto exchanges. He's the one who went on Bloomberg and accidentally said how this is all just a big Ponzi scheme and tried to like sort of reverse when he realized what he was saying.
Yeah. Anyway, just gross. I hope Gillibrand's proud that she's in opposition to the Biden administration on this. Yeah, frankly, I mean, this is when she'll go reach across the aisle.
I think that in the pursuit of fairness, we shouldn't only spread FUD, and we should offer some sort of like alternative. Maybe retirees should get a portion of their Social Security in cryptocurrency, but you can pick the coin, and instead of like Medicare and Medicaid, you can get like NFTs. You can get like I don't know, like they can put your healthcare on the blockchain.
Oh, there's actually sadly cities who are looking into doing that. Yeah.
Oh.
Actually, literally putting your healthcare records on the blockchain.
Not regulated, it needs to be banned.
People, yeah, exactly. Not regulated. This stuff needs to absolutely be banned. I mean, there's a professor, Prof. Hillary Allen on Twitter, says a good thread. I'll just read a little bit. Today, Lummis and Gillibrand launched their bipartisan crypto bill. It's bipartisan in the sense that senators, we should all know this about this word bipartisan, but it's bipartisan in the sense that senators are from different parties are giving the crypto industry pretty much what it wants. But it doesn't honor the regulatory goals that Dems typically prioritize. I mean, Gillibrand is bought. Like, that's what I would suggest is explains her doing this, and it's like I said before, it's despicable.
It should not shock you, given like her relationship with and Schumer, by the way, Wall Street donors, just based on being in New York fundamentally. Go on, Brandon.
And I just wanted to say before we shift the topics, but more than just bringing in exit liquidity for the big whales and the various venture capital funds who want to get out or get into crypto, this is also setting the ground for like those people to be bailed out once the market eventually collapses. Like once like all the stable coins collapse, like Terra, once all of the NFT markets and OpenSeas collapse, the people who are going to be left holding the bag are going to be like the smallish investors, and you'll see all of the usual characters going hat in hand to like the government for like a bailout, because like a portion of their portfolios, not their workers' pensions portfolios, but their personal portfolios were in crypto more than they should have been, and so like they're going to need a refund from the government, because we've seen this with crypto all the time. It's all deregulation and decentralization until someone steals, and then like the people who have the most power are able to seek recompense through the government, and the people without any are unable to.
And it's ridiculous. I'm sorry to keep going on this, but it's ridiculous that we just have a news organization that goes up to someone like Cynthia Lummis, who's clearly invested in this thing, and asks them what they think about it. Like, I mean, maybe one of the better concepts to come out of the Enlightenment was disinterestedness, which is to say that like you're not allowed to speak on something if it directly benefits you. And so, and that's why like crypto people, it's like, I'm yet to hear from a crypto case from somebody who isn't holding, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's all just motivated. Even if you literally believe all of the stuff that you're going to tell me about the technological promise, it's bullshit that you've sold yourself because you are invested in it. You cannot be objective about it.
I don't know. They're trying to outpace the bad news too. Right. I want to say they're trying to outpace the bad news of like crypto collapsing, and every news story you hear out of the crypto industry is like hack $100 million stolen, no way to recover it. Hack, 18 apes stolen in Discord hack. And so, this is like mainstream news stories are still trying to pump up crypto before like all of that wave of bad news gets like, fully dispersed into the populace's idea. And that's all crypto is to even your everyday average people.
Right. And for Lummis, it's not even so much like they ask for her opinion on it without asking her bringing up her conflict of interests. She's literally writing laws, or I should say in this case, taking laws that were written from her by the industry itself and trying to pass them.
Yeah.
So that's even worse. But then also on that, there's this petition that's been going around, signed by some really well-known and big computer scientists and computer developers, all speaking out against this whole industry, and they're working on getting it signed by even more people in the field. Because frankly, again, like the point you made, like even people who look at it from the technological standpoint, at the financial standpoint, those who are not also invested, those who are just looking at it from the technological standpoint, seem to all be against it as well. Like there is nothing there, even from the people who are just looking at it from like tech aspect.